Good Monday. This is Jay Brew, co-chairman of Sea Freedom Brew. Well, we just did our quarterly ALCO webcast with Dr. Ed, and the first portion of that was really interesting. And so this week I asked Ed if he could do that little portion.
Yeah, Good Monday. I don't get asked to do Good Mondays unless Jay's out of town or is busy or something. He asked me to sub for him, so I'm really happy to have the opportunity to share Good Monday with you. Jay, now's the time of the year where banks and their loan customers' managements decide what to pay staff next year. And it's a very important decision. Not only for the bank, obviously, with respect to net income and ROA and ROE and net overhead expenses and eventually stock price, but also for your commercial loan customers. Because I notice a lot of commercial loan wage decisions are based on sort of what everybody else is doing or mostly what they did in the past. Oh, we've been paying 4, 5, 6%. That's what we did last year. We can do that this year. Well, I know many of you know me well. You know my background. I'm professor emeritus of economics and business at Lafayette College. You know me through my Sheshanoff exposure. You know me from Sea Freedom Brew and colleagues, of course, of Jay. The dean of the Virginia and West Virginia Banking School and in a number of graduate schools. But you may not know, before I did any of that, I was an arbitrator for the American Arbitration Association. In fact, I still am a member of the arbitration panel. And I get selected to do cases every year. I get a few cases sent my way, and I reject almost all of them. I don't like to do discrimination cases, gender issues, sexual harassment. I have trouble deciding who's lying and who's not lying. But if I get a case regarding wages, which is called interest arbitration, then I usually accept it because I find that very fascinating and it's really in my zones of interest. And when you set wages, Jay, under an arbitration setting, the arbitrator is compelled to look at 3 areas. Number 1, past inflation. How much earning power did the group that you're arbitrating for, how much did they lose in terms of real wages because of inflation over the preceding 12 months? Second thing you look at is what we call comparables. What did similar workers make in similar locations doing the same job as the group under question? And lastly, you look at the financial health of the business or municipality with respect to tax revenue. They have a surplus, they have a deficit. If it's a private corporation, how are their earnings? Do they have losses? Do they have profits? But in our case, we're only going to comment on inflation. And so this is a tip for you building your budgets inside the bank and something to tell your loan officers to communicate to your commercial loan customers as a significant advice as to what they should be thinking about paying their staff.
Now, they could even send them the webcast, Ed.
We could. They're happy to do that. Jay and I have been literally now for the last 5 years certain of one of our forecasts. We just got the timing wrong, but the forecast that we made 5 years ago came true. We looked at it from 15 to 20 years out. It came true in 5 years. And that, of course, is the natural gas play called the Marcellus Shale gas play here in Pennsylvania, Ohio, and West Virginia, these mid-Atlantic states, that has literally changed the world. We knew it was big. We had no idea it would be this big. We really didn't. We thought it might be big in 10 or 20 years. We had no idea it would only take 5. And because of what's happening to energy, Jay, you might want to circle this graph. The blue line represents overall inflation. Yep. And point out where it is. It's at 0. That's the last 12 months. So we don't have October's inflation yet. This is September. But it's not inflation for September. It's inflation from September 2014 till September 2015. It's been 0. The red line above it is what we call core inflation, which is all items minus food and energy. Now, you might get some pushback from your staff or your loan officers or even the management of the businesses for whom you make credit extensions. They don't believe you that inflation is 0. Well, it is. Jay's circling it right now. All items, last 12 months, goose egg. Now, sure, and here's what you're going to hear from them. Food, Jay, how much did food go up in the last 12 months?
1.6%.
So every time you go to the shopping center, you go to the grocery store, you see higher prices, no question about it. Food away from home, Jay.
Up 2.9%.
2.9% for restaurants. So faced with those kind of arguments, what argument do you make next? Well, it's energy. Circle the whole energy array here, Jay. Thank you. And you'll see that, for example, gasoline over the last 12 months has fallen 29.5%. In fact, many of you out there are seeing reductions in fee income from NSF charges, and that's the reason. At the end of every month, Jay, consumers are finding they have a couple $100 more a month because they're not spending at the gas pump, and their checks aren't bouncing with the same frequency. Fuel oil, Jay, heating oil is up down 34.9%. Gas, piped in gas, if you heat with gas or cook with gas, that's down 12%. So the point is, these are all weighted to how much we spend, and no matter what anybody pushes back, inflation is zero. So our view is, of the three components of wage increases, the most important one, inflation, is zero. And so we urge you to tell your customers, if they were given 3, 4, 5, 6% in the past, and they automatically want to do it this year, don't let them do it. It could make their income statements a little shaky later on in the year if the economy turns sideways. We're recommending 0 to 2% as a good starting point for banks, their staffs, and their customers. So that's my report on wages, Jay.
Thank you very much,
yeah,
Ed.
Great.
This is Jay Brew, co-chairman of Seafreedom Brew. Have a great week.
See you all.